So the other thing, last two things I was going to talk about rather, card priority. That's a question that actually gets asked fairly often, I would say. I think it kind of comes and goes, but obviously you have these 3 charge cards, right? And as I said before, all the properties are listed and all the other stuff, so I'm not going to go over that too much. I'm going to talk more about the theory behind it. Ryujin is really good in spaces where, like, you want to poke out of something. So what's the thing? So I guess if I try to do this to you. I sent a card charge for that, but there are certain spots in your opponent's pressure and like things, like gaps that you'll notice over time. I don't know if that'll work on regular block. I think that'll. Oh no, it does. Sick. You don't even need to IB the split seal. But that's like this is a very common block string for Kais. It's like close slash 6k split seal, and then they try to pop the split seal with 236S or stun edge. And in that case, you don't even need to IB it. You just throw that region out. My point being, there's places where you can pop out of pressure and like break your opponent's rhythm by doing Ryujin. Especially Charged Ryujin, because Charged Ryujin has better properties for poking out. I think it's like, I don't remember if Charged Ryujin has some kind of invul. I think Max does, but normal Ryujin has uses, I guess, and as well the grounded versus TK or Tiger Knee version, which you have to do by doing 2369 or 2368. You'll see it because it starts up faster, and you see that little like dust cloud that you see when you jump. That's how you know you did a TK region. TK region is faster though, so it's good for if you need to move quickly. Air region in general. The reason why TK region is faster is because air region is faster. TK region just includes the 3-frame jump startup, so it's a fast tool for poking out of some things that some of your normals can't do, or like parry wouldn't help you with if it's too far. Like parrying that stun edge instead. If I can do it. That's too early. I guess you can get like a parry and do a dash afterwards, but it's not like a true punish. That didn't counter hit like you saw the Ryujin do. So there is that aspect of charging Ryujin. Against a lot of like the pixies and the lighter characters, they don't have that many threatening tools, so like TK or Ryujin charges aren't that great, except for like Max Ryujin, which does 1,000,000 damage, and it's really good as a combo utility in those cases. So it has those uses. Gekiden though is the one that I think most people should take, especially when they're first just starting out, because Gekiden is like your best knockdown tool. Because unlike the other two charged, Gekiden what would it do? If I can do a region knockdown, I have to let him drop a little more. So a region knockdown, there's actually not that much time for you to do other stuff. Get like a region knockdown, you usually can't get that great of Oki, or rather you'll get Oki, but you won't get a card charge and other stuff. Same with DP. If you use it as a knockdown, you get DP, but you have enough time to jump and do a safe jump or something, but you don't have enough time to charge a card after DP. If you do try, you'll get hit. DP, and then you charge your card. I guess you can like wire C after you get the card and try and get Oki, but in any case, this is what happens when you get throw into... Oh my gosh, it whiffed. Get a card charge and Medioki. So in terms of knockdowns and keeping your pressure going and keeping your Oki going, Gekiden is really good. And as well, as we kind of talked about before, Max Geki gives you Puff Puff on oh my gosh, it whiffed. Max Geki gives you Puff Puff on midweights, heavyweights, lightweights. You get it in a lot of situations. So, especially on the lightweights who are like way more finicky with PK into Puff Puff, Max Geki is really good for giving you that utility back and that knockdown back. Because out of this Puff Puff, you can usually do charge maxes, especially when you're mid-screen and they're too far to really punish you for it. So that's the use of Max Geki, I guess. I mean, other than that, it's also just like stupid fast, so you can do something like that. It is good as a mix-up tool as well, and like if they block that, I should probably just set this in terms of like switching guard on the dummy, but kind of lazy. But hitting with a charge Geki, it's a pretty good starter too. You can get like all kinds of junk off of it. Some of it's a little tighter, and especially with micro dashes and things like that, but at the very least you'll get like 5k 2h 46 pp. I think there's probably ways to get stuff off a charge Geki, so that's worth mentioning as well. Charge DP. Her regular DP can be low profiled because the startup is like, it's like in the air up there, so like a lot of things will just outright beat it. And I think, I don't know, that's all I want to do. They'll either like beat it or, oh, how big is this hitbox? Stuff will like go under it, and you end up like like Soul jumps and does 2D on his Oki. Like if you do safe jump 2D as Soul, and Jam tries to DP, you're just like whiffing DP in front of them, and they like recover from 2D and kill you. It's so funny. It's not funny as a Jam main. It's super not funny, but it's pretty funny. So regular DP is kind of sucky. Carded DP though, carded DP has some good startup. It's got, I think, Earth. It's got some kind of invul. Like I said, go back to look at the data for that kind of stuff, but carded DP has like a better hitbox, and it actually gives you a knockdown, like full on tech when it comes down. So in that respect, it's better. Another thing worth mentioning though, IDDP has those funky properties of like the same way that all the kicks have regen like slows down, which isn't super useful. Why can't I do it? Yeah. In certain situations, I guess if you're like, yeah. I mean, ID back and ID forward regen isn't, like the special movement regen isn't that useful at all, but it's kind of cool looking. ID Gekiden is a common thing that people use though, so that's an important ID kick tool. It's probably easier in the corner. Yeah, like off of ID Gekiden uncarded, you can get full PK confirm into Puff Puff. Max DP though, the property, or not Max DP, regular DP, the property that it has on ID is that it kind of has that like momentum stick in the air where it stays in the same place. The thing about that is you can go over stuff, and the reason why it's better than regular DP is because you do that thing where you like land faster. It's like regular DP, you just go all the way up there and kind of come down in recovery. With IEDDP, you actually recover quite a bit quicker, and especially like regular IEDDP, I think we tried to figure out ways to combo off of it before, but there's not really any that are good or consistent. I guess if you like RC or something, but that's not really worth the meter, I think. But IEDDP, as it shows in the tutorial, it's super good. It's important as a consistent PK route on lights that also works into Puff Puff. And other than that, it's a good mix-up. Like on Oki, you can do something like either, you know, charge and then do IEDDP. In that case, it's too far to be a cross-up, but if you're like super deep, as a cross-up. And a lot of people won't react to that. Even people that like fight jam a lot will have trouble reacting to that. The ones that do, or that predict you'll do it, can do something like 5k close us. Or like an answer to that IEDDP is Wake Up Blitz, because they see that you're charging, they'll like look and see that you're charging DP card. They'd be like, well, I'll just I'll Wake Up Blitz it. But this setup will usually beat, well, it will always beat Wake Up Standing Blitz, which is what will catch IEDDP. So that's like a mix-up Oki option, but just make sure you have a charge on DP before you do this, otherwise it'll be like pretty useless. Because regular IEDDP doesn't have all that great of properties, so you can kind of use it as a reversal, but it's not that great. Max DP. Max DP is kind of a meme in the Jam Discord, like because of Lox, because Lox went through that phase where he just like charged nothing but max DP. I'm really not a fan of it. I don't think it's really all that useful. It looks super cool and it has untech all the way down. It's, I guess, a good reversal. I think it's like way safer on block even than regular. I mean, regular DP and charge DP aren't really safe on block at all, but I think max DP has something about it where it's actually not as unsafe as the other two. It's a good reversal. It has some combo utility. I think you can do something like it has some kind of combo utility. At that point, you might as well just be using regular charge TP for IDDP. If I'm not mistaken, though, you can get like an air dash or something after IDDP, but you have to ask someone. Yeah, you can get an air dash, so I guess not in dust combos, but maybe as a combo ender. Yeah, I've seen that said. I just don't know that IDDP and then you can like air dash or something like that. I typically don't really use max DP, so I'm not familiar with like how to combo in and out of it. Or I mean, comboing into it isn't hard. It's just comboing out of it that's kind of a pain. So I guess it's more just a reversal than anything else, but Max Geki, Max Regen, Max DP, and each of the charges, they each have like a use. That said, I feel like what I was saying before is general stuff about it. It's like Max Geki is the thing to charge at first because it's just so good in terms of consistency. Like you got Geki knockdowns, and then you can be charging a card. Oh, not DP. So like if you have even just like a basic throw confirm, you get charge card into Oki. With charge Geki, not with charge any other. With the other two, you kind of have to just do safe jumps or do whatever other, just a meeting. You can't like recharge your card. But this loop of just ending stuff in Geki and getting the knockdown while, God, if I could do the combo. You end a combo in Geki and then you do a meaty. That's like the very basic jam game plan. And you know, when your mix-up hits, when you get the hit, ending Geki, charge it, get some more Oki. The other two you kind of just have to safe jump. So I think, especially starting out, Geki is a real important card to max. If anything, you know, and this is something that I tend to do against, in particular, Ram I think is a good example. Like, when I fight Ram, I try to keep a Geki stocked because against players or against characters where you tend to be in the air a lot, Geki is very good at giving you a knockdown and bringing the game back down to the ground. Like, a lot of people play Maze and, you know, see that she jumps a lot, and you're like, well, how do I get her to stop jumping? Put her on the ground. Or, like, get up there and beat her with that JS with its, like, super long reach. And, you know, then bring it down with Get in, get him on the ground, and do some Oki. Oops. So, charging Geki is super good. Regen in matchups where, like Soul or Kai, or there's actually a lot of them where when you get more familiar with the way their pressure works, especially if it's grounded pressure, there's spots where if you don't know what else to do, sometimes if you need a longer reaching far hit, carded regen is a good thing to have in places, I guess, or matchups where you need to poke out. I think that'll even work. Yeah, sick. And there's all kinds of fun combos you can do with regen too. Like, if you find yourself using regen a lot in confirms, you can charge it and get knockdowns at least, or combo into it and do other things. If you feel like you need a reversal, you can charge DP. But I only really charge DP as a mix-up tool. I think on reversal, my tendency has been to learn to just defend. And you have other options besides DP. Like, there's characters with really good DPs, like Soul or Leo, and that's kind of like a super good tool they have. Ours is... it's not bad. It's certainly not the best DP because it can be low profiled and you have to like charge it for it to be good. You have parry, which is a pretty good wake up tool when they're committing to high Oki. So in some ways you don't really necessarily need DP, but if it helps you, or if you prefer to, if in certain matchups you see like, oh, this Oki isn't real, this isn't a safe jump, I can DP it, by all means charge DP and use it as a reversal, because at least you get your turn back and you get Oki that way, and that's like, you turn it back in your favor. So that's kind of probably all I wanted to say about card priority and changing that as you go on. You can always adjust and decide what to do, but to summarize, like when you're first starting out, make use of Geki well and kind of work it into your game, and then eventually you can kind of decide, well, in this matchup I need this, this, and this, or this person is poking me out, or rather I can poke out of this pressure or do whatever else. So that's things to keep in mind. The last thing I want to talk about and kind of just go over very